Can I ask a question? How often are you talking with people and genuinely getting to know about them and possibly seeing why they do some of the things that they do or why they even um are the way that they are, right? I was talking to someone, and in this conversation, we talked about many things that I actually had never discussed with this person before. And in the process of discussing these things, I began to feel this empathy that I wouldn't have before. It began to allow me to see why they did many of the things that they did, that if I had not talked with them, I would have seen the things that they were doing as rebellious or just seeking to be rude, when in reality it is the way that they had grown up. It is the way that they the things that they had experienced that got them to this point, and the reason why they were doing some of the things that they were doing, not just being rebellious or mean, but just because they had been shaped in that way. And now, I'm not making excuses, because we all have a choice and we do have to partner with God and be transformed, right? But what I am saying is that we would be a lot more patient with people and probably pray for them more than we would talk about them if we actually sought to know the individual and got to know them. And it got me to thinking about Jesus and how he often met with the people that nobody else would, and the religious people would be so awful to him for meeting with them, because they were thinking, how could you go and meet with them? They're the worst of the worst, right? And again, we're not making excuses for anybody's sin, but we're just simply being like Jesus, because he met with them not to excuse their sin, but to talk with them and to speak the truth to them so that they can walk in in righteousness, so that they can walk with him. And you and I, with him as our example, should be doing the same things. Instead of us, obviously there is a time and a place for everything. I'm not saying we should never, you know judge anything, but what I am saying is that as often as possible, we should seek to understand the other person and get to know them. And if you don't have the opportunity to know them, this is one of the things that I've done, and I've had to work actively at this. I'm not telling you I'm perfect. I've made these mistakes, right? But one of the things I started doing is, when people start acting crazy, start um being rude and all these other things, if I don't have the opportunity to actually, because we can't talk to every single person that we encounter, right? Time and different things like that may get in the way. But in those moments when you cannot, take a step back and say, what may this person be going through? What may have shaped their life up until this point that they're acting the way that they are? And how can I show them Jesus in this moment? I'm not excusing their behavior. I'm not saying that they shouldn't work on it. What I am saying is that I'm going to be one less thing that this person has to worry about in their life, y'all. And I can tell y'all from experience, there has been times where I have literally been hanging on by a thread. And I think that if one more thing would have happened, somebody would have said just one more thing, I probably would have went over the edge. And so this thinking the way that I have spoken is a way that we avoid doing those types of things, and the way that we look more like Jesus in this earth.